Thriller at the time when it came out was and still remains one of my all-time favorite. I think Thriller is as close as a perfect pop record that's ever been made. I think we can all agree that it should be talked about in that sense. But I didn't really know Off the Wall because it was a little bit before my time. Yeah. Thriller was so massive, and then Bad was so massive. Those two specifically. And I love Dangerous too, by the way. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But like that run, Thriller and beyond, kind of just took over my early childhood. Michael Jackson was my favorite artist. Danced in my kitchen every night to Thriller when it came out. And it wasn't until I was a teenager, like 16, 17, that I discovered this specific track. I forget where I heard it, but I said, is that Michael Jackson? Mm-hmm. This was also, I was into jazz at the time. So I was like, this is a different sensibility than Thriller. This is less pop. This has more of the things that I'm into right now. And it was this. Woo! Perfect.
Yep.
Girl, close your eyes. Let that rhythm get into you. Don't try to fight it. There ain't nothing that you can do. Relax your mind. Lay back and groove with mine. You gotta feel that beat. And we can ride the boogie, share that beat of love. I wanna rock with you.
The hand clap. The hand clap.
Yeah.
Big four hand clap.
Yeah, it is big four. Second verse. Big ass verse.
Perfect disco track. Perfect pop track.
That's a classic.
Again, the sea wind horns here. Jerry Hay.
It's like a supple breeze coming from the sea wind. Man, that bass drum sound, perfect. The sound of, oh my God.
The whole track is magical.
Yeah.
The harmony here. The horns. The bridge.
The bridge, I know. It's like, oh, the bass here, Lewis. I love this little segue, a little instrumental. I remember I was like, damn, what is that? These sparklies. Boom. Was Johnson. Modulation? Oh no, second time. Wait for it.
Save it.
Oh.
There we go.
Yeah. Lop off one beat. Why not? Man.
You gotta, when they finished tracking that, they must have like just handshakes all around, break out the cigars. They had to know that they just killed that.
Yeah.
They crushed that.
Right.
That's unbelievable.
But you think about the final product, like of this record, but that track in particular, and I actually don't even think this was the first single. It may have been, but I think it was "Don't Stop." But I remember when this came out on the radio, man, it was like, damn, like the sound, the whole thing. And when you're a kid, you don't quite associate. I mean, I remember exactly where I was when I heard this in the vacant lot across from my parents' house. Somebody brought out a boombox. And it's like it came on the radio, and everybody was like, "What?" You know.
I mean,
and then being at the skating rink like the next day, and you hear it. But think about what what we just heard did for the culture.
Oh my God!
Like of the world for sure.
But I don't have that anymore.
No. And I mean, it was like everything was so radio driven. And I'll just say, like, I think a big difference between Off the Wall, obviously Off the Wall, and I couldn't find Off the Wall in my LP collection. I know it's there somewhere, but we do have this. Ever heard of that? Thriller. But like the big difference between those records, because there's so much commonality. Q, Temperton, the rhythm section. I mean, a lot, Michael Jackson mainly, and his musical prowess and his stamp on it. But I think that, Off the Wall was radio driven.
Yeah.
And it was, yes, it was a crossover, and it was a huge record. I mean, it's one of the best selling records of all time, if it wasn't being overshadowed by the best selling record.
Yeah.
But Thriller was like right at the cusp, but it was MTV driven.
Yeah, that's right.
Especially for white America.
100%.
For white America, like that's what
This
really
is
pushed through.
pre-Moonwalk, pre-videos. There were
Yeah.
videos for this, but the Rock With You video is him in like a sparkly disco jumpsuit.
Yeah, there was nowhere to watch it. There was
nothing. Yeah, exactly right.
But it was also like it was. I mean, it was a top Billboard charting and stuff. But it got not Thriller. Off the Wall got pushed out of the Grammys. I think it got like a R&B song award or something.
Yeah.
But it was still like the segregated radio stuff.
There was segregated.
like he wasn't
radio
played on
stuff.
white radio. So like St. Louis, no 106, but he was played on 108.
It won a Grammy for best male R&B vocal performance.
Yeah, for one track
for
or
one
something,
track
right?
for Don't Stop. But it did.
But it was like by then it was like the biggest selling record of that year of 80.
Yeah,
I
it
think.
had 2 number 1 hits, Don't Stop Till You Get Enough and Rock With You. It had a number 10 with Off the Wall and a number 10 with She's Out of My Life. It sold over 7 million initial copies in its first year, has sold now over 20 million, certified 8 times platinum, remains one of the best-selling
4
albums.
top 10 singles. I think that's extremely rare.
It's extremely rare. It peaked at number 3 on the Billboard charts, reached number 1 on the Billboard Top Black Albums charts, now called the Top R&B Hip Hop Albums. For 16 weeks, it was number 1.
Yeah.
But so the
But
track,
I just want to finish one thing real quick. What I meant about the culture, I mean, just the culture of humanity.
100%.
And like the U.S., sure, but like what, like this put more happiness and health and dance. You talk about a little dude in High Ridge,
100%.
Japan. Oh my! I mean, just everywhere
around the world.
Yeah,
and
I
we
mean,
don't
like-
have an artist like that. And we probably won't ever have it again.
Yeah.
We're so in our little boxes with each other and fighting over stupid stuff. I mean, you could say someone like, but even like Beyonce or Taylor Swift are polarizing now
know.
in a way that they wouldn't have been.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's them. I think it's us. I think
Well, I think the
it's
music.
culture
I think
itself.
pop music changed. And I don't want to be, yelling at the clouds. Boomer yelling at the clouds.
Yeah.
But I mean, the fact that like you hear that rhythm, like it's Michael, like it's the way that he approaches things, his syncopation, his vocal abilities, his musical abilities, Quincy's production, the string, like the humanity that was still in the music. I remember this record when I started kind of learning about playing and stuff. I was like, I would go back and listen to this and be like, wait, is that drum machine? Because I thought.
Yeah.
I was like the way that the rhythm section was, but that was like there was so much vibe and humanity to it. And I think it's something when you talk about something, when you basically, as you say, have a disco record or a half disco record and it ages so well, that kind of
pretty awesome.
Yeah, it belittles it a little bit for us to even throw in, disco.